You know, we've all had that wow moment with tools like ChatGPT, right? But have you ever stopped to wonder how a machine actually understands what we're asking? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain, unlock that AI black box, and trace the exact journey our questions take to become those incredible answers. Let's dive in.
You type in a prompt, and what comes back? Well, it can feel like magic, but here's the thing. It's not magic at all. It's a fascinating step-by-step process. So what really happens inside that digital brain when you ask it something? That's the big question we're going to break down piece by piece.
All right, so first things first, the biggest hurdle, right? How does a machine that only understands numbers make any sense of our messy, complex human language? Well, it all starts by chopping our words into pieces it can actually work with.
The first thing you've got to get your head around is that an AI doesn't see words or sentences like we do. It uses a process called tokenization. It's basically just chopping our input into smaller, meaningful chunks called tokens. So a word like glitters, for example, might get split into glitter and the suffix s. This is the absolute first step, and it's how the AI sees the basic building blocks of our language. And this is where it gets really, really cool. Each one of those tokens is turned into a set of coordinates, or what we call a vector. Just try to picture this giant multi-dimensional map of meaning. On this map, the token for happy is plotted right next to joyful, but it's way, way over on the other side of the map from sad. This is how an AI starts to actually grasp meaning and all the complex relationships between words.
But what about words that have more than one meaning? This is where a huge breakthrough called the attention mechanism comes into play. If the AI sees tasty right next to apple, the attention mechanism tells the model, hey, focus on the words around it, and it pushes the meaning of apple towards other fruits on that map. But if it sees revenue next to apple, it pushes the meaning over towards other companies. It's just a really powerful way of showing that for an AI, just like for us, context is absolutely everything.
So, okay, the AI can understand our words, but how did it get so incredibly smart in the first place? It all comes down to a massive, and I mean massive, learning process.
The main way it trains is basically a giant game of fill-in-the-blanks called self-supervised learning. The AI gets fed a sentence from the internet, a word is hidden, and its only job is to guess what's missing. Now imagine doing that billions or maybe even trillions of times. That's how it learns grammar, facts, and the very fabric of language, all without a single human teacher telling it what to do.
Now, you've probably heard these terms thrown around, transformer and large language model, or LLM. It can be a little confusing, but there's a really simple way to think about it. The transformer, that's the powerful engine that processes language using that attention mechanism we just talked about. The large language model, the LLM, well, that's the entire car. It's the whole system built around that powerful engine. The transformer is the core tech, the LLM is the final product you and I get to use.
So at this point, our AI is basically a walking encyclopedia, having learned from a huge chunk of the internet. But you know, raw knowledge isn't enough to make it a truly helpful assistant. The next step is all about shaping that knowledge into something genuinely useful.
This all starts with a process called fine-tuning. Think of the base model as a generalist who knows a little bit about everything. Fine-tuning is what turns it into a specialist. By training it even more on a very specific set of data, like say medical journals or financial reports, you can create an expert model that speaks the language and understands the unique ins and outs of that specific field.
But what about brand new information? I mean, the AI's training can't be updated every single second. That's where this really clever technique called retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, comes in. When you ask about something recent, the system first retrieves current, up-to-date documents. Then it combines that new info with its existing knowledge to generate a fresh, current answer. It's how the AI stays relevant in our crazy fast-moving world.
And this brings us to the next evolution, AI agents. This is where things get really exciting. An agent doesn't just answer your questions, it can actually take action. The best way to think about it is this. It doesn't just give you the recipe, it goes to the store, buys the ingredients, and cooks the meal for you. It's the leap from being a simple knowledge base to a personal assistant that actually gets things done.
So where is all of this incredible technology headed? Well, the next major shift seems to be about moving all this power out of the giant cloud data centers and bringing it a whole lot closer to home. While most of the buzz has been about these giant large language models, there's a huge trend towards something smaller, small language models, or SLMs. These are way lighter, faster models designed to run directly on your phone or your laptop. What does that mean for you?
Well, it means more privacy and more speed because your data never has to leave your device. You can imagine a custom AI trained just on your company's internal data, or a personal assistant that knows your preferences perfectly.
The big takeaway here is that we're moving from a world of one-size-fits-all AI to a future of personal, specialized AI that's woven right into the fabric of our lives. And that leaves us with a huge question to chew on. As this technology gets more personal and more capable, how is it going to fundamentally change the way we all work, learn, and live? Thanks for joining me on this journey inside the AI Black Box.